when considering a vigilant rascal who is sitting with your mind, not. I'm kind of just encouraging the audiences to consider that this really is happening. I would like you to consider Colonel Sanders and the recipe to Kentucky Fried Chicken. See, do you remember the ingredients to the Colonel's secret recipe? And I have to acknowledge that most of my life I was not able to remember what the secret ingredients are. Because the turkey was sitting on my head. So the secret ingredient is mustard. It's mustard. And I was not able to remember this most of my life. I remember, now that I have been retaught this information from my spirit guides. See, they're teaching me information. And they let me know the secret ingredient is mustard. Okay? In the game called Clue, there's Colonel Mustard. And that's the clue about the secret ingredient. Were you able to remember that? So just spend time thinking, and meditate about your memory. And I kind of have a feeling there have been durations of time where you were not able to remember that the secret ingredient is mustard. I kind of have a feeling that you'll acknowledge that to yourself. See, why would a turkey not let me remember that ingredient? Oh my gosh. So, in my fridge I have some, in my freezer I have some frozen drumsticks, and I also have mustard in the fridge, and I only have one egg left. I have to go to the grocery store and get some more. But when I began to consider, wow, mustard, I couldn't remember all these years, I could not remember the secret ingredient, and it's mustard. And see, when considering salad dressing, if you make your own salad dressing, I have to get more balsamic vinegar also. Next time I'm going to make a grocery list. I need eggs and balsamic vinegar. But when making a salad dressing, with oil and balsamic vinegar, or another kind of vinegar, if you use red wine vinegar or even apple cider vinegar, an emulsifier added to salad dressings is either egg whites or egg. Put a little egg in your salad dressing and shake it up, and it emulsifies the oil and the vinegar. And that means that when it sits on the table or in your fridge, it doesn't separate. The vinegar and the oil begin to separate without an emulsifier. And the vinegar usually goes to the top and the oil goes to the bottom. But both egg and mustards are emulsifiers. You can also add mustard to your salad dressing and shake it up, and it'll emulsify it, and then it will keep it so it doesn't separate. Either it keeps it so it doesn't separate, or it keeps it so it doesn't separate as quickly. It's like it could sit there a longer time before it does. And it'll take it however long if it does separate. But that's another thing to be scientifically observant about is, does your oil and vinegar separate with mustard as an emulsifier, and how quickly does it, if it does, and if it does, why did it end up separating again? Okay, these are things to consider about chemistry, though. See, it should sit in your fridge and doesn't separate at all. The next day or the day after, it's yet blended together and the oil and vinegar doesn't separate. So there's something about egg and mustard. See, when we make fried chicken, usually we put the chicken in an egg before we coat it with the breadcrumbs. So I was thinking, wow, in the Colonel's secret recipe, does he just coat the chicken with mustard only and not egg, and then uses the mustard coated drumstick or piece of chicken, and then coats the chicken with the breadcrumbs? Or does he mix up both egg and mustard? Okay, so that's something to consider about, one's own memory or your own memory. Were you always able to remember? Okay, and another thing to consider when considering your own memory is the game of Duck, Duck, Goose. See, here we have the game used to be called Duck, Goose, Swan. See, and I can remember. See, here's the kid sitting in lotus position, in hexagonal formation or in a circle. Here's the selector going around going duck, 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 duck. And the way we used to play the game as a child is duck is you just keep sitting there while the selector keeps going around, and if the selector says goose, like here's the selector saying goose on this person's head, then the way we used to play the game before flux in time was this person had to get up and then sit in a new position, but this person does not chase the selector. See, this guy goes around duck, 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 goose, and this person just stays there, and this person gets up and just sits in another position and has to switch positions. This person remains the selector, and just even though he said goose here, this person does not chase him around. This is the way we used to see. It's only if the person says swan. See, the person goes around and says duck, duck, goose, and this person doesn't get up and chase him around. That's only with swan. If he goes duck, 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 swan, this person has to get up, and this person runs around and chases. So this person, as soon as he selects this person as a swan, he runs around to sit in a position before this person gets up and tags him. And if he sits in this position before he's tagged, then this person is the new selector. So the way we used to play the game is duck, goose, swan. And with goose, the rule is that it goes around duck, 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 goose, and then he could just stay right there standing, and this person has to get up and sit in a new position. This is not a chase. Swan is a chase. Goose is not a chase. So what happened? Because this is how we used to play the game. The game was duck, goose, swan. It was not duck, duck, goose. It was duck, goose, swan. And we used to play this game all the time, and then there was a mysterious flux in time. And we all played the game as duck, duck, goose. Goose is when you chase around. But no, the game used to be played with duck, goose, swan. Now I want to bring to your attention something here. Where did that go? There's these special geographical areas that the United States has. And I got to put it on pause. Hold on. Okay, see, this is in one of the letters I wrote, and here we have the geographical area of Lake Erie. And Lake Erie's southern shore has 3 states. And this has to do with duck, goose, swan. See, Ohio has to do with the duck, Pennsylvania has to do with the goose, and New York has to do with the swan. Okay, so during the World Wars, see, these games that we were taught as children reflected the games we were playing with the turkeys, or with the foul players sitting with our heads, sitting with our minds. See, and Schwanstein has to do with the games of duck, goose, swan. And then there was a flux in time, and then worldwide, somehow, the game became just Duck, Duck, Goose. It wasn't Duck, Goose, Swan anymore. Okay, so we can consider the castle of Schwanstein, and then there's even another castle called Neuschwanstein. Okay, can you find them both? Because sometimes I have looked on the internet and I found them both. Other times I look on the internet and they're not there. I mean, I can only find New Schwanstein. Old Schwanstein, I can't seem to find again. So I'm wondering, is this a package that arrives on the Earth and then departs again? I mean, is this another game? Sometimes Schwanstein is there, sometimes it's not, but New Schwanstein seems to always be there. Okay. But this is how we used to play games of ducking. We used to duck, goose, swan. Okay.